More of the Zach Gelb Show on Fox Sports 920 The Jersey.
All right, we're back on a Football Friday, 5:15 from the Princeton Orthopedic Associates studios. Mike Hill joins us right now. You can listen to him on Sundays from 5 to 8 p.m. right here on Fox Sports 920 The Jersey. And, of course, you can see him all the time on FS1. Mike Hill from Fox Sports joins us right now on the Zach Gelb Show. Mike, appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day. Thanks so much, and how are you?
No problem, Zach. I'm a little bit winded, man. I'm an old man, and I just finished working out, so you got to forgive me here, bro, but I'm here.
What was the workout like today? A lot of bench pressing today?
Worked out with the trainer today, and she tried to kill me because I told her what I ate last night, and that's never a good idea to tell your trainer that you ate bad.
You always got to tell her asparagus, salads, all that. You got a lot in the trainer.
I'm too old to lie, man, because I'm too old to remember to lie. So I don't lie anymore. I just tell the truth.
Well, Mike Hill joining us right now. I saw a tweet last weekend, and it said, quote, "I don't know why I can't fully buy into this team yet." And it was you talking about the Eagles. Explain this a little bit to me.
And I knew this was one of the reasons you wanted to have me on
it's the
show,
only reason I wanted you to come on.
I said it on our show last week. It's just that, I don't know. Well, let me preface myself by letting everybody know out there that I'm a Giants fan. I'm a New York Giants fan.
Makes
sense.
sense.
Maybe I'm a little bitter. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm a little bit bitter. Maybe I'm looking at our season. I'm just trying to deflect on everybody else. But when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, I know they're 7-1, but I'm looking at that team, how they've overcome all their injuries or whatever, and I'm thinking, okay, when is it going to fall apart? Because eventually I just feel like it is. I don't know why, and I can actually say that about just about every team in the National Football League. There is not one team that's out there that I can fully buy into. I don't care if it's the Patriots. I don't care if it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Each and every team has their individual issues right now. There is not one dominant team or team to beat, in my opinion, in the NFL. And maybe, once again, it's just my Eagle hate. I'm sorry. I mean, I know I'm supposed to be a professional when I'm on television and when I'm on radio. But maybe it's my Eagles hate because I'm such a Giants fan that I'm deflecting on this team right now. Look, are they the best team in the National Football League right now? Their record says they are. Do they have possibly the MVP of the league in Carson Wentz? I believe so right now. But there's something about this team, and I don't know what it is, that just makes me feel like I just don't see them representing the NFC in the Super Bowl right now.
Well, then who do you think is the team in the NFC that represents us in the Super Bowl this year?
And that's hard to say. That is, like I said, I think every team has an issue. But, look, if Seattle can get their offensive issues together, which they seem like they did against the Houston Texas team that has all kind of defensive issues about J.J. Watt right now, if their offense can play the way it played last week, look, how can you go against Seattle and the fact that they've been in the playoffs each of the last 4 years, gone to the Super Bowl twice or whatever? They still got a really good, tough nucleus, veteran nucleus out there in the NFC. And it just depends on what happens with this Ezekiel Elliott. Will he play? Will he not play? Will it be the same situation as Tom Brady, where basically he plays the entire season and they get him the first 6 games next season? I don't know, but the Dallas Cowboys still seem like they could be the team to beat in the NFC. Look, the Eagles, once again, great team. They're having a wonderful season. I know Coach Peterson has had his issues out there, play calling and making some proper decisions or whatever every now and then. And I hear that from a lot of Eagles fans out there. So it's not just me coming with my New York Giants bias. I hear a lot of Eagles fans complaining about him. But
to be fair, Mike, hold on. That criticism was last year. You're still hearing that criticism now after 4th and 8th this year. People are loving Doug.
Yeah, I heard it the early part of this year as well. I mean, now maybe he's rectified a couple of those issues, but I did hear about it earlier in this season as well. So, maybe he has rectified those issues. But look at all the injuries that this team has, and those injuries continue to pile up. And I know injuries affect every single team in the NFL. Look, you're talking to a Giants fan where injuries affected that team, and that team is lost for the season. I get that. But when is he going to? Maybe, and I'm just looking at, hey, they started off 3-1 last year. And I know 3-1 is not 7-1. I understand that, but it's something. I just don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. That's what I said. That's what my quote was. I don't know what it is, but there's something about this Eagles team that I can't fully buy into. Now that you got a Ajayi to go along with LeGarrette Blount. You got Blount out there. Maybe the running game continues to do well, but I'm looking at your wide receivers, and I'm like, you're relying on guys like Nelson Aguilar to get the job done with your top pass catcher is a tight end right now. Now, can that happen when the weather turns cold and whatnot, and you go to the running game, you rely on those tight ends, whatever, and Carson Wentz continues to stay healthy? Absolutely. I think that can play out, but sooner or later, man, you're going to have to be able to do a couple of things with that passing game through the air with some of those wide receivers to make things happen. Your run defense is tremendous. It is phenomenal. And your defense and your special teams over the last couple of seasons, last 3 seasons, every time I play fantasy football, I've tried to get the Eagles when it comes to defense and special teams, because I know they're not only going to turn the football over, but they're going to score points off those turnovers. They're opportunistic when it comes to that defense. But once again, and please forgive me, and I'm being honest with you, I'm having an open moment. Maybe it's just my Giants bias, but I just cannot fully buy into this team, and maybe I'm just hating. I'm just being honest with that.
Mike Hill with us right now. Well, why is there hate for the Cowboys? You're believing in the Cowboys a little bit, maybe. You were bringing them in earlier in the conversation. Shouldn't you hate the Cowboys just equally as much?
Yeah, I do. But if you ask me, maybe my brother's a Cowboys fan, so I'm kind of rooting for him a little bit since I can't. They got to keep it in the family a little bit. I'm being honest with you, Zach. See,
I appreciate
you got to
it.
give me credit. You got to give me credit for being honest right now, man. It's like that is. I would love to see Philadelphia because I think it's a great sports town. I know how much you guys love the Philadelphia Eagles, your Sixers, how much you love the Phillies. I know how much you ride for your teams out there. Blue-collar town, great fans, real fans, true, passionate fans. And I'm pretty sure once people hear this interview right now, my Twitter's going to be blowing up with haters out there. People from the Eagles telling me how much I suck and I don't know what I'm talking about. I understand that. In Dallas, you know, look, do I truly believe that the Cowboys? No, I don't truly believe that as well. But if you had to ask me between the Cowboys and the Eagles right now, maybe because the Cowboys came off a 13-3 season last year, and I see they can continue to build or whatever, even though they lost all of their secondary. Maybe that's just the history, the history, the past history that just happened a couple of years ago or just last year makes me believe more in the Cowboys than the Eagles right now. That's just it.
Getting back to the Seahawks team, I think right now the best two teams in the NFC are the Eagles number 1 and the Seahawks number 2. If the Seahawks, let's say, don't get the number 1 seed, because you know Seattle's a different team at home than on the road, how do you look at the Seahawks if they have to go on the road, maybe to Philadelphia for an NFC championship game?
I mean, you obviously got to give the Philadelphia Eagles the advantage because they're playing at the Link, and, you know, the fans are going to be out there. It's going to be passionate. If it's the NFC championship game, the Eagles haven't been there. They're going to be hungry. You know, everything has to come together. Do I believe Seattle? I know Seattle can win on the road, though. They've done it in the past. I think the year they went a couple of years ago, they went to the Super Bowl doing it on the road. So I know they can win on the road. It's not a big deal. I just look at the history, once again, the present and the recent history of these teams. And that's what I'm relying on. That's what I'm thinking about when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles. It's nothing really negative against them. I'm not trying to hate on them. I'm hating a little bit, but I'm not trying to fully look at this particular team and say, well, I just hate this team. I'm never going to root for them. If they make it there, they make it there. But if it's the Seahawks and the Philadelphia Eagles, I think the Eagles need home field advantage much more than the Seattle Seahawks need home field advantage in the playoffs, in my opinion. If that's the question you're kind of asking me.
But looking at two other teams, because I can't really get a pulse on one and the other, I've been very surprised about them. The Falcons, they're up and down every week, and the Rams have been very surprising with the young head coach in Sean McVay. What do you make of the Falcons and the Rams?
Oh, with the Falcons, I just think I don't know if it's because they lost their offensive coordinator. When you lose your offensive coordinator and you bring in somebody new, they just can't. They got too many good offensive weapons for their offense to be stagnant the way it is right now. And I can't put my finger on it. It's just that's probably one of the biggest disappointments in the NFL this season has been, other than the New York Giants, have been the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, they almost lost last week, and they would have had a losing record had they lost last week. And then you look at other teams around the league. But I think eventually, because they have such good weapons, they'll eventually get it together. We'll see what happens right there. But then when you talk about the L.A. Rams, for the same reasons I'm talking about, man, I know it's a what have you done for me lately type of league, but you look at the history and you wonder, when is it going to fall apart for such a young team? You got a head coach who's 30, 31 years old, running the show out there. He's doing a tremendous job. He's the coach of the year. My co-host on my show on Sundays, Ephraim Salams, predicted the Rams to go to the playoffs this year. Are they the second best team right now in the NFC West? I do believe they are, because Seattle beat them earlier this season. But they are coming. They're up and coming. They're coming fast, man. Their offense has just been phenomenal, and the defense is getting it together, whatnot. So, yeah, there are certain things that I look at, bits and pieces, and say, yeah, but I feel like, this team has a good shot at doing or making some noise once they get into the playoffs, if they can keep it going. But once again, I'll go back to my first point. I can say this about just about every contending team in the National Football League. And that's what makes the NFL so great, the parity. You just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Look at Houston.
It's wide open this year, especially with Rodgers going down.
Yeah, with Rodgers going down, you don't know. I mean, look, do you really believe in the Minnesota Vikings basically with a third-string quarterback right now? I mean, they got a great defense, but there's something about Minnesota. You look at in the NFC, even Seattle, man, the offense, you still feel like, man, there's no running game right there. Russell Wilson is carrying his team on his shoulders. If Jimmy Graham can continue to play like he played last week, yeah, that's going to be great. But every single team, the New England Patriots, is that defense going to continue to be solidified like it's been over the last couple of weeks, or is it going to go back to the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season? Look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. All the internal griping and things that's going on with the quarterback, that's not sure if he wants to play or not. With the wide receiver Antonio Brown kicking on water coolers, and you got Martavis Bryant is going to play. Is he going to play? If not, he's upset about his role, and they got a 6-2 record. Houston Texans playing well, and then they lose their quarterback for the season. It's like it's so wide open. So if you're an Eagles fan, even despite the haters out there like myself, you should be saying, you know what? Forget what the haters are saying. We're just happy with being 71. Why not us this year? And I'll look at it, and I will applaud you if you get there.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm a Patriot fan, but I do cover the Eagles, and I'm in this city, and we talk to Eagles fans each and every day. And I just look at this team right now, and just looking at it objectively, I think they are the favorite right now to win the whole thing. But that's different being the favorite right now than when you get going into the postseason. But I understand what you're saying with all the injuries and the Giants stuff like you're saying. But this is a team that has the MVP of the league. They have a good run game, just got it even better with Jay Ajayi. And like you were saying, their front seven is like no other in the league. So my question to you is, what is it going to take for one Mike Hill who loves the Giants to finally buy into the Eagles?
All right, so they got to play the Cowboys twice. The Eagles got a really tough schedule coming up in that second half. If you look at that,
Rams and Seahawks too.
Rams, Seahawks. You got 2 games against the Dallas Cowboys. Stay consistent. I mean, you don't have to go 14-2. You don't have to go 13-3, 12-4. Win the division. Play hard. Play tough. Avoid these injuries. I mean, you lose Peter. Like guys that are being hurt on this team, they're not scrubs. You lost Darren Sproles for the season. They've been able to overcome that, man. The fact that they've been able to do that, I applaud them so far, the things that they've lost so far, and continue to have the best record in the National Football League. I know that one loss came against Kansas City Chiefs or whatever, which could be one of the – and I still got questions about them. So just continue to play well, and I guarantee you, what I'll do is I'll go on the air. If they – who they got this week? Who do the Eagles got this week?
They got the Broncos.
They got the Broncos. All right, so the Broncos have been kind of up and down, struggling after that good start. If they beat the Broncos this week, I'll promise you I'll go on the air this week, and I will not have any hate for the Philadelphia Eagles.
You got it.
And I will place them. Now, Broncos playing with damn Brock Osweiler. So
don't be making excuses now.
I should put a caveat on that. But at the same time, I promise you, Zach, if that happens, I will go on national radio this week, and I will proclaim the Philadelphia Eagles as the best team in the National Football League for that week.
Now, hold on. If the Eagles make it to the Super Bowl this year, I need you to do me one thing, and it's going to pain you as a Giant fan. If the Eagles make the Super Bowl, I need you to send me a tweet you doing an Eagles chant. Is that fair?
I will do an Eagles chant with an Eagles jersey on.
Okay.
If the Philadelphia Eagles make it to this Super Bowl this year, Super Bowl 52, if they make it to the Super Bowl this year, I will do an Eagles chant with an Eagles jersey on and a diaper.
Okay. Hey, we're gonna record. We're recording this right now, so we got it in the archives. We're putting it in the archives. But let me tell you something. I'm cheap, so if you expect me to buy you a Carson Wentz jersey, it's not happening. Buy it yourself, all right?
No, I said the Eagles. It could be an old Randall Cunningham jersey.
All right. Well, Mike, good stuff. I'm assuming you lost maybe a few more pounds there in this conversation, so you continue to keep the body in good shape from that workout earlier, right?
Yeah. Eagles fans are going to tear me a new butthole. You know that, so I probably lost some pounds there, too.
Appreciate it, Mike. Listen to you this weekend. Thank you.
All right, brother. Take care.